So off we go. So revenue, what do the revenue say? They're saying that this system is going to make tax simpler, for them at least. Okay, they're going to make everything all in one place. Okay, and it's going to be for business people and all people that do tax returns. Okay, so whether you're in business or whether you've just got rentals or whatever, you've all got to get involved with making tax digital, and all the taxes. So all your taxes will be in one place. So you know, under the same banner, you'll be able to see corporation tax, VAT, income tax, national insurance, and all of that is all eventually going to be all in one portal. And they're going to add in, as I say, making tax digital for individuals. Okay, I've now broken the clicker. No. Okay, benefits. Okay, they say that it's easy for HMRC to be able to see everything all in one place. They say that if everything is digital, it's going to be more accurate. It's going to cut out the mistakes. The revenue reckon that there's about 1 million tax returns go in each year wrong, and they're hoping that making everything digital will stop that. They say that it's going to be easier and much more efficient. One of the things they're saying is you know, you won't have to ring them up anymore to ask you what your P11D, what's on your P11D or your P60 that you've lost, that your employer sent you 9 months ago, because it'll all be on the system, so you'll all be ready there for you to see. What they see as the challenges is effort, putting some effort into it, which is starting tonight. Cash flow, you're going to have to buy probably a new computer, some new software. You're going to invest some time, and you've got to get used to it. A lot of people, you know, don't like computers, don't understand computers, don't want to know about computers. Well, unfortunately, going forward, it's tough. What the accountants say, we're all saying that it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. Nobody in the government has any idea what businessmen have to go through, and you know, and adding another burden onto what you do, you know, is unreasonable. It's all fell on deaf ears. Okay, it's happening. So we've got two elements to making tax digital. The first one is making tax digital for VAT. And for all of those people in the room who are not VAT registered, don't worry, because the same rules will then come in for making tax digital for tax. Okay? Making tax digital for VAT is happening. That is going to happen on the 1st of April, or for the first period starting after the 1st of April for each of your quarters. Okay? Making tax digital is also going to happen. The hope from 2020, the revenue are piloting it at the moment, and they say that they will be ready for 2020. But the VAT, that's been out under pilot now for at least a year, and they reckon that's successful. Also, which you'll see in a bit, making tax digital for VAT isn't difficult for them. Whereas making tax digital for tax is going to take a lot more input. Okay, so it might not be ready. As I say, the legislation was originally going to come out in 2014, and you're all supposed to have been in it already. It was all going to start off from the 1st of April 2018. So this is just an extension, mainly because they're not ready. They don't worry about whether we're ready or not. VAT rules, okay, as I say, making tax digital starts on the 1st of April 2018, and it's for all VAT businesses that are above the VAT threshold. If your business is not above the VAT threshold, you don't have to join, okay, yet. And if you're not on the VAT, you don't have to join until we're making tax digital. They said that they were going to, originally, they were going to shut the VAT system that you're currently using and open a new portal. And we said, well, what are you going to do about those people that are that are exempt, and they went, not thought about those. They originally said they'll have to send it in paper, to which quite a few accountants said, really? You know, making tax digital simplification, we're going back to paper, are we? So they don't know what they're going to do about it yet. We're still waiting for clearance. And there were lots of little things that I won't be able to answer today because we're still waiting for the revenue. When the first seminar we was going to do was on a Monday night, and Alex and I spent all Friday getting ready for it. And while we were getting ready for it, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they issued a new bulletin and a new update. So Monday morning, Alex and I had to rewrite all of this to keep up to date. So it's changing and evolving, and I'll tell you what's happening as we go along. But essentially, you've got to keep your records digitally. They've got to be on an electrical format. And once they're on an electrical format, you can't alter that. You can't physically put any more manual inputs. So there's no good putting it on one system and then printing out the bottom. And you know, I mean, most of our farmers, they fill it out manually and they ring us up and we just fill it in manually into the computer. There'll be none of that. It's all got to be computer linked, okay? And I'll show you a little bit more. I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go on. Okay, and the revenue, they're providing this format, okay, making tax digital, and you've got to have a software that is compatible with it, okay, and as I say, under £85,000, and you don't have to register for now, but you will still get caught under making tax digital for tax. VAT records in digital format, the API, the application programming interface, is what the revenue have used. It's their program, and any program that you have has to be able to lock into that so the revenue can then see it. Okay, and you know, if you're not got that program, you're going to have to, one way or other, get your program into the final submissions going in on that program. Okay, those are all the software providers. Currently, there's 102 software providers. You don't need to know all the names. There is a lot around there that are doing it for VAT, and these are the approved ones. These are the ones that are currently approved by HMRC, and they're all the ones that you've heard about are up there. So all the Xero, the QuickBooks, the Sages, and Farm Plan, and you know, quite a few of the others, TASBooks, they're all seeking or have got approval to do it. Okay. We've partnered with some of them. All these programs now are all online. Sage, the Sage, any of those people on the old Sage, if you are on a current program of paying monthly, they will have an update ready, and I was talking to somebody last week, it will be ready by the time Making Tax Digital comes, but it is far more expensive way of doing it than you can see that Xero and QuickBooks Online, usually anything between £15 and £25 a month, these programs are going to cost. If you come and talk to us, we've done a deal with most of these people and we can get it cheaper, and we will be able to pass that saving on to you. So, and we've got quite a lot of workshops going at the moment, so if anybody wants to come and have a look at some of this digital software, talk to member staff afterwards or contact the office, and we can get you in on one of the demonstrations. So what you're going to be submitting, okay? Well, if you look what we currently submit, 9 boxes, yeah? VAT on your turnover, VAT on your purchases, how much you owe them, how much is your total sales. Okay. If you look on the other side, you will notice that it's the same figures. Okay. So you'll go through all sorts of emotions. One of why we're bothering is the one that's probably going through at the moment, because all you're going to be filing is exactly the same as what you're filing at the moment. Okay. But you're going to be filing it digitally. Okay, rather than filling in the boxes manually. So that's why I say they're ready. 2019. They haven't had to do an awful lot, have they? You know, they've just simply changed the program from one side to another, and therefore making tax digital for VAT will be ready. Okay. So spreadsheets. Okay, will you be able to use spreadsheets? You won't be able to file off spreadsheets. Okay, so the spreadsheets won't be compatible with HMRC, but you can still use spreadsheets. Okay, what we've done Wynniatt-Husey is we've spoken to a number of providers, and we're negotiating with them, and they're going to give us the final package that can synchronise your spreadsheets with HMRC. So eventually you'll be able to send it to us and we'll be able to unload it. However, making tax digital for tax may mean that you won't want to do spreadsheets anymore, and we'll come on to that a little bit later. Okay, but if you are keeping spreadsheets, remember you can't put it all on a spreadsheet and then write the answers down on a bit of paper and fill it in manually. You've got to have it all linked from one page to another. Okay. The reason the HMRC have originally wanted to do away with spreadsheets, okay, and they were targeting people not to keep spreadsheets, but unfortunately there's a lot of people out there with very complicated VAT returns, a lot of schemes out there, including the retailer scheme, the scheme for tourist operators, pharmaceuticals, and that sort of thing. And they are far too difficult for a current software package to be able to do. So we will have to put their information into a Sage package or into a QuickBooks package and then download it and then use some algorithms to then work out what the VAT is. So they've had to allow spreadsheets so you can still use them, and a lot of people, if you do your VAT on spreadsheets at the moment, for the first year you might want to carry on with spreadsheets. Some of those people with the old Sage, likewise, if you don't want to pay them £800 a month, you might decide, actually, I can put it all in Sage and then you can download it to an Excel spreadsheet and then we can submit it. Again, when you're coming to making tax digital for tax, that might be a different ball game, and you may want to invest in a package. Okay, so spreadsheets, they'll just come out the same. Penalties, yes, surprise, surprise, there will be penalties, and one of the updates that we've just had is the new penalty regime, and they're going to be a little bit like a traffic light system. So get it wrong once and they'll send you a nasty letter. Get it wrong twice and they'll penalise you a little bit. Get it wrong a third time and they'll penalise you a bit more. And get it wrong a fourth time and they'll come and decapitate you and use you as an example. And then if you then get it right a couple of times, they'll take you down a peg. So you'll go back down from red to amber, and if you're a good boy or a good girl, you'll go back to green, and that way. So that's the system that they are going to be. But they do say there won't be any penalties for the first 12 months. I don't know whether that's penalties for getting it wrong or penalties for not bothering. Okay, that's up for you to find out. Okay, exemptions. Who isn't going to have to do it? Okay, well, and this applies for both making tax digital for tax as well as making tax digital for VAT. Okay, and the 4 exemptions, and they are age, religion, disability, and location. Okay, and they are they were very. There wasn't much detail on them, and the latest update, they've put a bit of detail on the one for religion. And if you are a member of a cult that doesn't allow you to use electrical devices, then you can have an exemption. Don't ring them up on your mobile phone and say, I can't use electrical devices, because they won't believe you. Okay, the other 3, age, disability and location, they're just saying if it's not practical, okay, for you to be able to do it, then we can write to the commissioners. And we can write to the commissioners and ask them whether you can do one. And it's up to the commissioners, okay? So if you are exempt, or if you want an exemption, the time to do it is now. Don't wait till next April, because there will be a backlog, and you know that you might not be exempt for the time in which you've got to do a thing. So if you want an exemption, okay, and you know, I believe that if you're a one-legged farmer living in the middle of nowhere and it's against your religion to spend money on computers, you might get away with it. I think the rest of you might have a problem. Okay, but you know, talk to us now. Let us get the exemptions in early, and then at least we know there's a tick in the box. Okay. Tax rules. Okay, I'm going through this fairly quickly, only because I've heard it all before and I know it all. But you know, there will be time afterwards. Okay, and as far as I say, it's scheduled to start from 2020. All businesses will have to go in. If you're below the VAT limit, you can put a simplified set of accounts in, i.e. turnover, expenses, profit, but you're still going to have to do it. You're going to have to file it every quarter, okay? And what will then happen is you'll have to file at the same time as your VAT. So one of the really handy things for you to start doing is, if your year end isn't coterminous with your VAT, i.e. the quarters don't match, get them done. Contact the VAT or tell us, and we will get the VAT to coterminate with your quarters. So at least you're only doing it 4 times a year rather than 8. Okay, so that's something that you could be doing now. But everybody else will have to send in quarterly accounts within the month. So you'll have the month like you normally do with the VAT. The revenues say they don't have to be accurate. Okay, because what happens then is, after the end of the year, you have 10 months for me to file a proper set. Okay, begs a question though. You know, if you're wrong, and you're considerably wrong because you forgot to put sales in, or you forgot to do something else, or you've posted dividends to wages or something like that, I wonder what the revenue will say when I send a set of accounts out and your wages are £100,000 different to the ones that you've been telling them. Yeah. Also, tax planning. Okay. Most of my clients, they worry about the tax bill when I've told them how much it is. Okay. And they come running in and saying, Alan, is there anything you can do about it? And I sit down and say, well, can I do that in the future? Okay, can I wait 10 months after your year end and then start playing around with the figures that you've already sent them? And the answer is no. So you're going to have to do tax planning much earlier, right? At the beginning of the year, okay, rather than at the end of the year or 10 months afterwards, which is where most tax cases, most of it goes. Okay. As I said before, exemptions are the same. Okay, So if you're a one-legged farmer living in the middle of nowhere, age 75, you may still get away with it. Yeah. Again, and if you get an exemption from one, you'll automatically get an exemption from the other one. Okay. So if you're exempting yourself, exempt yourself from both of them. Okay. Deadlines, as I say, you're going to have to file them I'm going to have to file your final tax returns by the 31st of January. So you'll still do a tax return. Okay. Software. At the moment, there's only 4 softwares available. Okay. So there's only 4 people of software that actually have got their software passed and authorised by HMRC, and they're none of the ones that you know. Okay, they are all mainly accountancy ones. So one that we use, Iris, they've already got in there and got them done, but none of the big ones yet have got a program that will work or is accepted and authorised by HMRC. Okay, they all say they will be by 2020, and we hope so. So that is something that we've got to have to watch this space on. As I say, making tax digital for tax is still very much a work in progress for us and for the Inland Revenue, but every time we talk to them, they keep saying yes, they will be ready. So watch this space. As I said, people with personal tax returns will still have to comply with making tax digital if you've got rental properties. And if you've got a rental property and your rent is above £10,000, that's your gross income, not your profit, then you're also going to have to do a quarterly return for your rentals. Okay. So I can see some quite hybrid sets of accounts, or people having to keep a spreadsheet for the rental income, and then on top of that a Sage for their limited company, and maybe a Sage come hybrid system for their normal trade, or their little corner shop business or whatever. So there's going to be it's not going to be one fits all. You're all going to have something different, okay? And you're all going to have to do something about it. And as I say, attending tonight is part of it, and then talking to us and trying to find a sister solution to your problem, okay? But 1 or 2 people in this room might say, well, actually, I've only got to tweak a few things. I'm okay. But 1 or 2 of you in the room going, oh my God. 1 or 2 in the room, including me, saying it's about time I retired. Okay, but whichever you choose, if you're going to be in business next April, you're still going to have to do something about it. Okay. Property income, I've just said, and they're for all landlords. So £10,000, and you're going to have to do a separate return. Okay, you won't be able to add them into your business return. You'll have to do a separate return for that. Okay, and as far as I know, if you've got holiday lets and you've got a property rentals as well, and a business and a limited company, you're going to have to send 4 in. Okay, okay, fun this, isn't it? Misconceptions. Do you have to keep electric copies of everything? And currently the answer is no. Okay, I use the word currently. Okay, so you don't have to scan all your invoices in. You don't have to do all that. If you usually scan all your invoices in, then you have to use them as part of your process. Okay, so if you get somebody sending your emails all your invoices, okay, you've then got to link that to your computer program. Because you're not allowed to print them off again and re-input them back into your Sage or your spreadsheets. Okay, I'll give you something to think about, won't it? Okay, because more and more of us are having all our invoices sent electronically, so that's going to be part of the program. A lot of the QuickBooks and Sages, the new programs, can do that. You can automatically link them in as a file, but spreadsheets can't, so that's just another thought. Another misconception is, can HMRC see all of your records? They assure us the answer is no. Okay. Will they be able to in the future? I believe they probably will. I mean, if we've got somebody on a computerised records now, the Inland Revenue will already ask for a backup of your data. So they're already scrutinising software. So if you're putting it all up there on the cloud for them, will they want to be able to have a look at it? Yeah, you can bet. Okay, this is all to save them money. Okay, if they can get the computer to do an investigation on you, okay, and not a person, because all the information will be there, then that's what they're going to do. Yeah. Will it go away? Well, it's not going to go away. Okay, it's not going to go away because the Inland Revenue have spent a lot of time, trouble, and money in this. Okay, they are doing it because it's going to save them a lot of money. They've already invested a lot into a lot of computerized programs. So as those people who've been in business for a while, you'll notice that you suddenly had to start putting your VAT return online. You then had to start putting your PAYE online, and then you had to start doing your tax returns online. Well, this is just another part of the process. Okay, this is all down to saving them time and trouble, yeah, and making you slicker. Okay, I said to the Inland Revenue tax inspector, I said to him, well, so do you think our plumbers, do 6 hours in a day and then spend 2 hours a day doing paperwork? And they went, yeah. And I said, well, I've had a leaky tap for about 2 years, and we've got about 30 plumbers on our books. I've still got a leaky tap. They start work at 8 in the morning, they finish work at 8 o'clock at night. They then have a choice. Eat their tea, play with the kids, do the quotes for tomorrow, invoices for yesterday so they get paid, talk to the wife, do the VAT return. What ain't done by 11 o'clock ain't getting done. I says, and then usually on the 6th of the following month, the day before the VAT is due in, they come in with a big bag. Alan, just help us out one more. And they were horrified. And said, really? That really still happens? I said, well, how many people do you think are computerised? They said, oh, we know that figure. 97.5% of all businesses are computerised. Okay? Looking around the room, I can see that they don't know. So I said, well, I would say about 75% of my clients aren't computerised. And this tax inspector said I didn't know what I was talking about. He said, we've got proof that 97.5% of all businesses are computerised. And I went, that'll be interesting. What's your proof? And they said, well, for the last 5 years, they've all had to file their VAT return online. So they've all been computerised. And I went, hello? They went, what? We do it. Said, what do you mean you do it? I said, well, they all do it manually, and then they ring us up and say, this is 9 boxes, can you send it in for us? Oh, bugger, one said. Really? And I went, yeah. Oh, we didn't know that. Okay, so they're completely out of touch. They probably don't care either, okay, because it's still happening. Why else is it going to happen? Well, they have, this was originally thought up, okay, in order for you to start paying your tax up front. How many didn't expect that coming? Okay, how many people didn't expect that you will be paying your tax quarterly? Okay. Well, originally this idea came out in 2014 because in 2015 our current, the then new government said that they would clear the deficit by the end of their term. Okay, Making Tax Digital was coming in 1st of April 2018. Payments up front was coming in 1st of April 2019. For those people in business, that would mean that you would pay your tax 9 months after your year end, December 2019, but you'd also pay a quarter in July, and a quarter in September, and a quarter the following January, and a quarter the following April. So they'd have 2 lots of tax in one go. And guess when they had to be back in government? May 2020. Fortunately, Brexit and everything else came along and that scuppered their ideas, and the revenue let them down and wasn't ready for it. But it will happen. Yeah? You've also got to think, who's talking to them about it? Who wants making tax digital? Who's talking to the government? Well, HMRC, yeah, they're doing so. The Treasury, you know, woof, more money coming in, yeah? Why wouldn't they want it? Yeah? All the big firms of accountants, of course, all their clients are computerised. And the ones that aren't, well, PricewaterhouseCoopers employs 10,000 people in Calcutta alone. So guess where most tax returns will be going next year? Okay, they'll be over to Calcutta. Who else is interested? Who else is taking the government out? Shouldn't say this, but taking the government out for lunch. What about the software providers? Okay. Somebody very quickly would think £25 a time times 12 months times 20 million tax returners. How much is that? Yeah? Big money. Okay? If you'd have all come on a previous one, they'd give us all lots of freebies. Okay? They sent us lots of freebies. Unfortunately, they've all gone, so tough. Okay. So, main questions, okay. Why are they picking on VAT business first? Because they can, okay. Simply because they're ready for the VAT. As I've explained before, they haven't had to do much. So, again, PAYE was easy for them, you know, VAT is going to be easy for them. Making tax digital is a little bit harder, and that's why it's coming on another 12 months later. Where do I see this going? Well, they've already said by 2023 you were paying your tax quarterly. Okay? And, you know, why? Well, for the Inland Revenue, A, they can get the money up front, yeah, so they're going to get it early. But look at it another way. You know, if you do your accounts for 12 months and then bring you to me and 10 months later we do a tax return and you then pay them, how do they know when you haven't got enough to pay them? Yeah? When are they going to know in future? 3 months after the start of your business. Yeah? So the amount of bad debt they're going to have is going to be greatly reduced. Yeah? Because they're going to sit on you. But they're going to make it simple for you. Okay? So they're not going to allow any losses brought forward. They're not going to allow any losses in the year. They're not going to allow any reliefs, any sideways reliefs, or any reliefs for pensions, any reliefs for buying assets, new vans, this, that and the other. So almost always you'll be in a position where you've overpaid them. Okay? Just like they do in America. Okay? Nothing's new. Okay, in America, you pay all your taxes up front, you send a tax return in, and you claim a refund. So if you don't send your tax return in, you don't get one. Yeah? Somebody in our revenue's gone, oh, that's a good idea. I'll have a bit of that. Okay? So you're not going to know what your true tax position is until I do your accounts at the end of the year. But what about if you've got a seasonal business? And looking around the room, one or two of you have, and you have losses, a loss, a profit, and a loss. Yeah? Okay? It's tough, isn't it? You pay nothing, quite a big bill, nothing. So what you need to do about it? Well, you're going to need to talk to us, aren't you? You're going to have to be more proactive rather than coming to see me on the 30th of January and saying, when does my tax return have to be in? Okay, you're going to need to talk to me beforehand. Okay, you're going to have to use more strategy. You're going to have a tax strategy and a business strategy of what you're telling them and what you're doing. Yeah, because Big Brother is going to be watching you. Yeah, it already happens. Okay, our government have come up with nothing new. Okay, in Scandinavia, this system is already working. Yeah. And they like it. Okay. In fact, I think in Denmark they don't even have a year's grace. What you send in is what you have. Okay? I don't know whether it'll happen in this country. Why do they want you computerised? Why do they push you computerised? Well, the one thing our government doesn't like is the black hole. Okay, this is all those people that deal with cash. Okay, and they estimate that there's something like £600 million worth of cash transactions. They don't get a slice on it. Okay, so you imagine 20% VAT and 20% tax alone will wipe out the deficit. So the more they can get you into computers, okay, the more they can get you online, the more they can get people to pay by credit card, the more they can control it, okay? And you go into Denmark and try and buy something for cash and you would have a job. They're used to it, yeah? Got quite a slightly different culture over here. Okay, so I think that's me done, okay? I've hopefully prompted quite a few questions, okay, and it's down for you now to interact with me and ask me what you can do about it, and if I know the answers I will tell you. If I don't, we'll have to come back to you.